अपने पास 15 मिनट में शो खत्म हो जाएगा नहीं तो नहीं अभी गोइंग लाइव 1 second. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the new show that we're introducing this time. It's the AIFF Studio Live. It's a very fantastic concept introduced by the All India Football Federation. My name is Lokmanya Chaturvedi. I am playing for the Indian national team, and I will be your host for today for this great show that will be taking you through the ups and downs of the world of FIFA esports, the exciting news of what happens, and especially focusing on the Indian FIFA scene that we have scaled in like it's been an incredible journey for us from the start because not being able to compete a couple of years ago and then slowly like now even winning events qualifying for LAN events and it's going to be a fantastic journey indeed. So this year's FIFA nations online qualifiers will be starting with the planes. Basically it's a new concept introduced by FIFA and we are one of the participating member associations in this tournament. Just to give you a bit of brief about it, that we will have 9 nations competing within this region where 5 teams will be in Division 1 and 4 teams will be participating in Division 2. Based on our rankings last year, as we all know, India finished 22nd in the world rankings. Proud achievement for all of us indeed as FIFA fanatics. So from that, we have been placed in Division 1. And Division 1 basically will have 5 teams competing against each other. And at the end of the match day 4, when the team that obviously the nation that finishes at the top of the pile will be going through towards the FIFA Nations 2022 playoffs. And the other 2 teams that will be joining the winning team will be based on the consistency ranking points. That is quite a good feature, actually, quite a good format introduced by FIFA in that sense. And obviously, teams will be going up and down in a relegation promotion format within. Within the structure of this tournament. So it's quite exciting. It gives a lot of chances to the teams, a lot of strategy, a lot of planning, as we all know that goes within this, because if something isn't clicking in match one, you change it up and you bring out the best from your nation. But without taking much of your time, here I am today introducing the 3 players that will be participating, will be representing India in the FIFA Nations online qualifiers 2022. And because this plains format is such an exciting format for all of us, because if we at the end of the tournament end up at the top of the pile, we will be qualifying for the playoffs. Of course, we will not take much of your time. And we'll be joining with Charanjot Singh and Sid Chandrana, of course, the well-known legendary figures of the FIFA scene, these 2 young tigers. Joining them is me, a bit old than these 2, but still doing the job, I guess. But welcome in Charanjot, of course, the star, the best player of India, and of course Sid Chandrana, who's come from literally nowhere and ended up in a position which I'll definitely let him talk about. Welcome in, guys. How are you doing?
He just made it to London. A great start for India, and I just hope it gets better for us.
Yeah, as Sid mentioned right now, the practice has been going pretty well, considering we didn't play much 2v2 prior to it, Sid and I, and Loki and I, or Loki or Sid. So the practice has been going pretty well. And talking about the London event, yes, luckily I won the FGS Singapore Open with Aditya Chadda, who is another fellow Indian, and we have qualified and made it to London to the London LAN in April, and hopefully we can hoist our flag
That's
at the top
fantastic
there.
indeed, because I will be coming to both of you individually, because we obviously talk about so many things off camera as well, and we've been playing at the highest of the Indian FIFA scene for a while now together, and that is the kind of insights, that's the kind of excitement all the FIFA fanatics in India and of course across the world, to all our viewers watching, we'll be sharing a lot of them indeed. But first, I'd like to just give a hint about the AIFF eFootball Challenge. That was the first step the way we all qualified. And obviously, as FIFA players who want to have a chance of representing their country, it is your time indeed, because there are four qualifiers happening this year for you to have a chance to play against the best of the best players when all those four qualifiers conclude. And you can register. The link obviously will be put in the comment section below in the chat. And there'll be four qualifiers happening, which will be in November, December, January, and February. Of course, the November one had two players qualifying, which was Navneet and Darvesh. Navneet, of course, winning it. Unfortunately, he couldn't join us today. Would have been loved to have his insights. But that's how we all made it through last year with the AIFF Football Challenge that had 16 top players of the country based on the FIFA Global Series rankings. But this time, even if you're not part of the rankings, you have the chance to participate and play amongst the best players in the grand finals that will decide who will represent India as part of the E Nation squad in the 2022 season alongside us. Guys, we have to win the planes, okay, if you're going to join the new boys, of course. So but anyway, that is the gist of this. We'll go into the detail of it. I will be explaining the format and how it works for all the FIFA enthusiasts who want to take part in the AIFFE football challenge, of course, for the month of December. But I have some questions for you, CJ, starting with you, Mr. Goat, as we call Charan Goat, of course. CJ, you've been at the top of the Indian FIFA scene for a couple of seasons now, and your consistency of winning tournaments speaks for your talent, as we all know it. What is the secret behind it? And if you were to talk to an aspiring pro, someone who wants to be like you, what advice would you give them?
So first of all, there is no secret or like a natural talent behind FIFA. Like there are naturally talented players around the world in sports. FIFA is not something you are naturally gifted at. Like you just cannot hold a controller and start playing like Tex or someone. So it's mainly grinding. Giving day and nights practice. It's not like you're just gonna start playing in one day and next day start winning national championships. Even I started like that, playing with my friends. All of my friends were better than me at the start, but that motivated me, seeing others being better than you at something that you want to be better at. So like that motivated me. Then looking at them, then playing against you guys, because at that time when I joined in FIFA esports, Loki, Sid, Saksham, you guys were at the top, and I'm missing many more names here, I know. So you guys were at the top, and like reaching at your level was the main motivation. So always find a motivation first of all. It's like unless you don't have a motivation, you wouldn't be there. And one more, like one advice I can give to the aspiring pros is like don't give up mainly. Like it's not on the first day, like as just mentioned, you're not gonna become like Tex. It will take time, so just don't give up. But you can reach there. Just trust me, you can reach there. I was like you all only, like when I joined the FIFA community, a young lad from Chandigarh who didn't know how to play much. And then like look at me now, I have like won majority of the national championships, as Loki said. So it's all about grinding and not giving up,
Absolutely. I
I feel.
mean, CJ, as you talk about this, you obviously are quite humble about your achievements, but we all know you have this talent in you that keeps you a level above the rest of us. There's a little insight I want to give you guys. There was this one time where CJ texted me on PSN on the PlayStation, and he said that, "Do you want to play a friendly?" And I didn't reply for 5 6 times. And then one tournament he comes and he beats me, and I'm like, "Oh, why did I not reply to him?" So don't be like me, otherwise you will end up facing CJ's wrath, of course, in the tournament. But anyway, moving on, CJ, of course. First of all, massive congratulations on signing for M42 Esports. They are the upcoming
Thank
org
you.
that is, of course, creating a lot of noise with you guys in the FIFA esports scene. So recently, as you were saying at the start, that you made history in the FGS Singapore 2v2 Open, where you won with Aditya in the becoming the best duo in the region, and you will be representing India at London. So how does that feel, first of all? And then the second thing that I want you to talk about is that what was the game plan that you had put in place? Because knowing it's a new concept, knowing it's a bit different from what we play usually in 1v1, how did you go through those situations, knowing you're playing on a different server as well, which is not even the best server that you can have to play on?
Yeah. So first of all, I'll start the my journey before the FGS Open. 2 to 3 weeks prior to the FGS Open, my partner was Saranch, and Aditya Chadda didn't even have a partner, I think. So Saranch then decided to go on to the EISL, which is happening in Delhi right now. and I respect his decision. And then I teamed up with Aditya Chadda, so we only had like 1 to 2 weeks to practice to learn each other's game, and then to play in the Singapore Open. And 1 week after, we planned to go to Singapore, which we sadly couldn't because of the new variant that came out. And so that also like hampered our motivation a bit, because when we were practicing, we were like, we are playing on Singapore server anyways, we'll travel to Singapore and compete on good connection. And then when we got to know that we are not traveling to Singapore because of, you know, unforeseen circumstances, we were so like demotivated. Then the next best plan was to go to Chennai, because I think Chennai, we got like 38 to 40 ping, which was still playable. So we got went to Chennai, practiced there for 2 days, and yeah, that was how like we prepared for it. And on the tournament day, we were like, just like play how we have practiced, do not worry about it. And the first match, literally in the Swiss, we were 4-2 up in the 75th minute, and in the 90th minute we lost 5-4. So again, our like confidence is at a rock bottom again. And then some, Dhruv and Aditya Chadda both helped each other. We regained, got out of Swiss with a 3-2 record. Not the best of the records, but we did our job on the first day. Day two was what I believe our best performance. We went flawless on day two, won all the four matches, and reached the grand finals through the winners bracket. And we were very confident going into the grand finals on Sunday, on Sunday, yeah. And when we reached the grand finals, we had the same game plan. Just play like just play like a friendly, forget the stake, forget anything, forget we are going to London, forget we are getting money. That was the game plan. And like there was nerves in the game, you could see. But yeah, the FIFA gods were in favor of us. Yeah.
That's fantastic, really. But now that you've told me so much, Kev, so obviously everyone watching, you know how much of hard work and perseverance it takes to even reach to that level where you have to go to a different city and play your game in a different environment in order to get the best possible situation for you and to be able to win that. It definitely takes a lot of passion and determination inside you that we always talk about. Because if you want to achieve your dreams, you will keep going, just like Charanjot and Aditya did, and gave us that proud moment. But CJ, before I move on to the next question, in just one sentence, how does that feel in order to represent India in the first ever LAN event that we've qualified for?
In one sentence, if I have to say, I'll say I'm privileged and I'm speechless, literally. The day I won, like, I was just, the adrenaline was running in me. The adrenaline was talking. It was not me, not myself,
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Really, all of us are super proud because every FIFA player playing at the highest level in India, and of course, everyone who wants to be in that space is super, super proud of you guys because you're taking our flag global. Moving on to the next question. I mean, fantastic how CJ explains everything really well, being the goat that he is on and off the pitch. Uh, so now let's talk about the FIFA E Nation series because that's why we're here. We're talking about it, right? And we're starting with the FIFA E Nation series 2022 tomorrow, and it's time to represent our country at the biggest stage. What are your expectations from yourself and from your national teammates? Of course, like all three of us are here for the first match week. Then we'll obviously have Vicky in the next one, or we'll keep changing. Of course, we'll have the best possible squad in order to get through the planes. And who is the most difficult nation do you think we'll go up against? So these are a couple of questions about FIFA nation. So let me uncomplicate it for you. Sorry. What are your expectations first of all from yourself and your national teammates?
You
No,
want to
that's for
start,
you.
Sid?
That's for you, CJ. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's for me. The toughest nation, to be honest, like I don't know which nation is gonna be the toughest, because we haven't practiced yet with any of the nations much. So it will all, like, as soon as the week one goes, then week two goes, we'll learn more about nations. As long as we play our game, all three of us play our game, I don't think any nation can compete at our level, if I'm being honest. So we shouldn't worry about how good the others are. We should just focus on ourselves, and the results will showcase
Oh,
that.
that's fantastic. And what are
Yeah.
your expectations from yourself in this? And what are your expectations from your teammates? I mean, what are you expecting to come out of this tournament? Your performances, the team chemistry, because all of that is very important this time.
Yeah. My expectations are pretty high this time. Last season, we I think we performed better than what we expected. Though we didn't reach the FIFA nations, but to finish in the top 20, 25 in the world is something remarkable. And this year, like we want to reach the land, the E nations, and perform there. And from my expectations from you guys is the same as what I said for myself. Just give it your best, and hopefully the FIFA gods are with all three
Absolutely. I
of
mean, the
us.
FIFA gods definitely help in these tournaments, and of course, the support of everyone from the community and from, of course, everyone watching. Even our friends from different nations who are pro players who might be watching, taking some insights. So, CJ, don't really talk about our tactics too much on the stream right now. Always keep an eye out for that. But anyway, last question. That I want to shoot towards Charanjot is, of course, that CJ finished third in the FIFA Global Series 1v1 qualifiers that happened in the whole of South Asia. And we obviously know it's such a proud moment to have three Indians in the top three, which was an incredible achievement for all of us. Just goes to show where we're progressing towards as a nation. We all know you weren't satisfied with yourself. I personally know you, CJ. I know how it is for you when you're not performing at your level. I've seen you go through that, and despite the result, I mean, it's a dream, right? To finish in the top three for anyone, it's a dream, and they'll be very happy. But I know you're not happy because you exceed your expectations most of the times. But what are your thoughts on it, and what will you be doing in order to like overcome that in the next FGS, in the South Asia FGS calls too? What are your plans to get a better result and probably go ahead and win it all the way?
Yeah. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the Indians that reached the day two and day one only. All the Indians performed so well. We were the top three. If many of you don't know, like the rankings were first Indian, the first was Indian, the second was Indian, and even the third was Indian. So that was amazing. And to like, yeah, I was not satisfied as you said, Loki. I lost to Sid only. He's sitting here. So yeah, Sid performed amazingly that day. The main reason I was sad because I was 2-0 up. Sid knows. I
Within
scored
10 minutes
two
for the
goals
first
right
leg.
at the start. In ten minutes I'm 2-0 up. So like I think to go in that situation is pretty bad. Like I know it's a good situation, but when you're 2-0 up, you're like thinking, should I defend now or should I go for the kill, I don't know. Then Sid equalized instantly. I think Sid equalized instantly. Then the first match was KG, and then second match Sid dominated. Like I won't take anything away from him. Sid deserved the win. Yeah. So I think that was why I was a bit sad because I thought I could have done much better. But nothing against Sid. He deserved that win. And yeah, and also congratulations to Saransh who won the FGS qualifier one South Asia. And hopefully we'll continue, all three of us, all of the Indians in fact, perform similarly and keep the Indian flag
Perfect.
up there.
Thank you so much, CJ, for that. I mean, it's such encouraging words for anyone and everyone who wants to play and reach to the level that you're at, or Saransh is at, or Sid's at. I mean, you guys did fantastic in the global series. Sorry, Sid, to keep you waiting. I know I should have asked you some questions in between as well, but my favorite is CJ, so no offense. But honestly, coming down to Sid now, of course, the man who has scaled massively in the past. This is to just, if anyone is wondering why are we talking about all of this, it's to basically give everyone an insight about the players, where they're coming from, their achievements this year, and what keeps them motivated. Because as a player myself and as your host, it's very important to let you guys know what happens behind the scenes. That's the whole concept of this show. That basically helps you become professional players if you're looking at it from that point. If you were to even just support the players who are playing at the national level. But anyway, Sid, it's first of all, again, massive congratulations on finishing on the runners-up on the FIFA Global Series 1v1 South Asia calls. Is just talking about. I know it's arguably your biggest achievement, personal achievement in FIFA esports, and you exceeded your own expectations by beating CJ as well, who's sitting right there. You can throw that in his face, at least for the time being. But what was the secret? Like I asked CJ before this, but what was the secret behind beating so many good players that you did and making the nation proud with, again, the three Indian players ended up in the top three? I mean, what happened that day? How were you so good? Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, massive congratulations to Saransh for winning. I think he has become the first Indian to win a FGS tournament. So massive congrats to Saran. CJ was top three as well. So it's great to see India in the top three and dominate the region. And coming to your question, I mean, I had a terrible FGA season last time around. I think I was 56th in West Asia. I mean, I just had a terrible season, and I knew I had the potential to be at top, but I just couldn't adapt to the conditions, and we just had a bad season, a season to forget. So coming into the first qualifier of the season, I mean, I was practicing well, but I honestly didn't think I'd make it that far. It's just about focusing on the game, make sure you stick to the processes, stick to what you know best, don't lose your focus. And I mean, there's always a bit of luck involved. I won two games on penalties, so it's important to have the luck in your favor. And it's just about making that run, when you are in the zone. I mean, CJ and Lokman, you both of you will know the zone I'm talking about, when everything just happens for you. So I think I was in the zone and everything was working out in my favor. So very confident. The first day I was absolutely, I mean, I wouldn't call it nervous, but I wanted to get done with my first game ASAP, because it's the first game of every tournament that haunts you. And I actually lost my first game. So I was 0-1 going to Swiss, but Neil, my brother, he was next to me. He helped me, make sure that I stick to what I know best. I had to regain, I had to make it out of Swiss, because if you go out of Swiss in the first of qualifier of the year, I think you have a mountain to climb. So I made sure I got out of Swiss. I think I was 4-1 going into knockouts. And the first game again on day two, round of 16, if you lose, you are out. Unfortunately, that's how single elimination works. I won on penalties. I was leading by three. I choked a 3-0 lead. I won on penalties. I had to ice it up. And then, once I was confident, I knew just I had to stick to what I know best. And, semi final against CJ, he was 2-0 up after the first, in 10 minutes, within 10 minutes of the first leg. And I was thinking, how much does the third or the fourth guy get from, from the event? That's how I was thinking at the moment. But, just it worked out in my favor, massive. I just, confident. It's all about confidence, sticking to what you know best, and just worked in my favor that day.
Absolutely, indeed, because again, like these are the things that we live for, don't we? Like Sid called me right after the game with CJ, and I'm not, I don't know what's happening there, obviously, and he's like, I went down 2-0 in the first 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh man, CJ again being CJ, and then he shouted like, oh, but I won 3-2 in the end. So that's what you live for, right? You beat your friends in the scene itself, you beat your rivals, if there are any, and that basically changes your mentality, and that's all about what Sid is talking about. It's the confidence that you get from even one single victory in such a big qualifier. But anyway, moving on with you, Sid. Um, Obviously, it's been a fantastic journey for you. You are playing alongside CJ once again in the FIFA E Nations series 2021, as we also what you both did in the last year's edition in the 1v1 format, playing against some of the best players and taking us. We finished third in the rankings, of course, just one step away from ending up in the top two and qualifying, right? But now that you're doing so again, the format is completely changed this time. As we all know, it's 2v2, it's not 1v1. And you'll be dependent on your teammate despite your individual brilliance, which of course you have a teammate in CJ, of course, that's a massive plus. But how will you cope up with the pressure of representing your country, and given it's a totally new concept of FIFA esports?
Yeah, I mean, I just cannot ask for a better teammate. CJ is the best player in Asia, and there's no doubt about it. But talking about pressure, the pressure will always be there, no matter what happens. But it's down to the players, to we need to know how to deal with that sort of a pressure, because we play at the highest level and it's normal for us. So when we are in the game, we just have to focus on the comms, sticking to the processes, sticking to what we know, the player switching, proper comms. So I mean, the pressure will always be there, but I think you know what happened last time around. The nerves got the better of me in the final against Qatar, and it's something that still haunts me. haunts me because I honestly think we deserve to be at the LAN event last time round. But the pressure got better of us in the grand finals. It still haunts me. I'm pretty sure CJ is still very disappointed, but it's something that helps you learn from your mistakes, and it's something that we need to make sure it doesn't happen again. So learning from mistakes we made last time around, I think we are pretty confident going into tomorrow. I think we have the best attack in Asia. There's no doubt about that. So just very confident. Make sure we don't make the same mistakes again. Stick to our processes and just give our best tomorrow.
No, that's fantastic, really. Learning from your teammate, even though he's your competitor in the 1v1 format, just makes it all exciting because you come together for 2v2, you come together for E Nations, you come together for Club World Cup, obviously, representing different orgs. But that rivalry, as we see in football also, when it's like Barcelona playing Madrid, when you've got Ramos versus PK, but they're national teammates in Spain. So obviously that is what makes FIFA esports even more interesting now with the 2v2 format. But it's fantastic, really, to be honest. But now that we've been having a lot of congratulations, I think a lot of congratulations are on the table right now with so many achievements for us Indian FIFA players. So massive, massive congratulations to you, Sid, for signing for Mumbai City Esports. As we all know, it's part of the City Football Group, and it is booming like crazy. The way that you guys have been doing in terms of esports in every part that you're in, and you're part of that group now. So first of all, tell me, like, it's a massive, massive opportunity for you. Talk to me about it. How do you feel? What are your personal goals? And what is that, you know, the infrastructure that is provided to you now? What will you pass it on as well to anyone who wants to be a part of bigger orgs in the future?
Yeah, I think it's a dream for me to play for my home club because I've been born and brought up in Mumbai. It's a city that feels like home. It's my home club. I just cannot ask for more. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but they got in touch last season as well. But unfortunately, that couldn't materialize. But they are the ISL champions now, and the opportunity came knocking again. I just couldn't say no because of how much the city means to me, and how much. I mean, so good to play for your home club, and City Football Group are so massive. New York City Esports, Man City Esports, pioneers in FIFA Esports, Melbourne City as well. So it's great to be a part of such a huge organization. The people that are in charge, the managers, all of them, they know what's it like to play at the highest level. So infrastructure wise, I just cannot ask for more. I think everything is in place for us to perform, and just no excuses this time around. I had a terrible season once again, but I want to be at the playoffs this season. I know it's not easy because it's only the top two guys make it to the global playoffs that we have this time around, but you have to set the bar for yourself with everything in place. You just have to work hard, make sure you stick to everything and hopefully have a great season. Playing with Saki once again to represent Mumbai. I mean, Saki is from Pune, so I don't know how he feels about it. And Saki is a massive Chelsea fan as well, so don't really know about Saki. But to anyone who wants to play for all, any sort of an organization like Mumbai or like Meliora or like True Rippers, I would say just stick to what you know best. Make sure you are performing in tournaments. Don't be upset when you lose because I think that's what helps you become a better player. It's not an overnight process, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to stick to your game for years, I'd say, because that's how much time it took for us to get to this level. So it's not an overnight process. Make sure you grind every day. You have to put in the hours. There are no excuses. Learn from your losses because don't be upset. It's natural to lose, and make sure you are a better player and make sure you don't make the same mistakes again. Performing in tournaments, it's not easy, but with the likes of EISL and so many tournaments in India, I think we have a very good infrastructure in place, which wasn't there 2 years ago. And so, I mean, everything is in place for us. So it's down to you if you want to grind, put in the hours, and just become a better player.
That's fantastic insights, really, because not a lot of times do we have this. And of course, I'm glad to be a part of the host of the show, where it basically you come out and you have pro players, the best players in the country, come and talk to you, all the viewers, about how they feel, what happens when they lose, what happens when they win, they've achieved so much, where they're coming from. I mean, it's so exciting because so many people, all, and I think you both will agree as well, that so many people come to us and like, how did you become a FIFA player? Like, tell us your journey. Where did you come from? And this is when we used to play tournaments in small cafes and there was nothing. And now we're uniting as a national team to be representing for the second year. I mean, that's incredible how far we've come in terms of, FIFA esports, starting from the bottom and basically being the leaders of the community and trying to help as many people as possible, of course. So, lastly, Sid, this is a question for you specifically. Uh, you know how competitive the Indian FIFA circuit is, right? And of course, you and I both agree, and obviously everybody in the community agrees. CJ is somewhat gifted, yeah, as much as he denies that. He has got that talent. But given that you, CJ, myself, and Vignesh, of course, as we famously call him, Wiki, are part of this year's squad, and there are obviously other pro players who will be gunning for the national team spot as well in the grand finals that happen of the AIFF Football Challenge. Is it's so competitive now. There's so many good players that aren't even part of the squad right now, which have proved time and time again, the likes of Saranj, Saki, all those players who should be there, of course. How would you describe the growth of the scene in the last 3 4 years, given that the scene is so competitive, and how has that made you a better player, given there's so many good players in the scene now, starting from the start, when CJ didn't come into the scene, when I was not there in the scene, and there were other pros who have retired now who were playing, and now that the scene has changed so much, how would you describe it? And then I would ask CJ to also comment upon it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible couple of years, right from the beginning. I think we didn't even play foot when it came to FIFA 17. It was just head to head tournaments, traveling to different cities, playing for 10K tournaments because that was huge for us at the time. And India wasn't even eligible, to play in the global series. I think that's something that set us back a couple of years. But thankfully, with the addition of India to the global series since FIFA 21, I think it's been a tremendous growth. Indian national team has also come into the picture, and it's an absolute privilege to play for the national team. But the way so many new guys have come into the scene. CJ Chadda came out of nowhere. He's going to London now, so it's incredible. It's something that keeps you going because when you see so many new guys come in and perform so well, I think you want to be at that level as well. So I mean, India has a population of I don't even know how much. So if you are top 8, top 12 in a country that has population of a billion people, I think it's quite tremendous and massive credit to all of you because it doesn't happen overnight. As I said earlier, it's everyone's hard work, everyone's achievements, and I think all of us we performed so well in foot that EA just couldn't ignore us for one more season. So it's been incredible, great to be a part of the journey, and it's just gonna grow even more from here.
Absolutely, indeed. I mean, the fantastic thing that you said, like players, upcoming players like Aditya, of course, I wanted to give him a special mention as well. That how he's come from literally asking me if in a LAN event in Delhi where he played me in the finals, he's like, "Is there a pro scene in India?" And I was like, "Yeah, and you playing really well. You should play that. Look at him from playing that in like pre-COVID, and now being literally top two in India in terms of ranking, and obviously qualifying for the first LAN event with CJ as well. CJ, what are your thoughts about this though? What about the growth and the scene according to you? How has that changed things for you, and how has that helped you to look at this as a career and not just like a side hustle like it was, I would say, for a lot of people before?
Yeah, so as Sid said, the growth has been tremendous in FIFA esports. When I joined, I saw like the same 16 names being at the top, competing to LAN events, going to Ahmedabad, Gujarat, different part of the country. And now, like, I think the COVID turned out to be, a blessing in disguise, you could say, for FIFA esports in India. So like COVID, like made so many, produced, you can say, so many talented FIFA players in India. So many new names, as you have mentioned, Aditya Chadda, and many more. Many more names that came out. So yeah, I think FIFA. is growing tremendously. Now we have a national team, we have a national league, we are at the global series, and we will be performing at LAN if hopefully it doesn't get cancelled. And so you can see, like, in just 2 to 3 years, in the span of 2 to 3 years, India is growing so so remarkably. And yeah, and talking about competition, I think the competition helps all of us. If there is no competition, then what even is the point of playing? Like, so like we need more and more people to come up and compete in the tournaments, and just not and get a PS5 also and play on PS5 tournaments. Yeah.
That's a nice thing from CJ there.
I mean, CJ is known for these little, uh, mischief things, mischievous things that he keeps on saying. But anyway, of course, I mean, talking about this, there is no host to ask me this question, but I would definitely like to share my experience that I'm representing Kerala Blasters in the Indian Super League. Of course, it's a proud moment for me because Kerala Blasters has the biggest fan following in Asia, football fan following in Asia, and I'm proud to be a representative of that club. And of course, I recently signed a contract with True Rippers as well, who is an esports organization based out of Bangalore, one of the leading esports organizations doing so well in other esports titles. And now they want to have a footprint in FIFA esports as well. So you're seeing a lot of things happening. You have True Rippers, of course. Really proud to represent. You have Mumbai City Esports, of course, coming in with Sid and Saki and them being one of the pioneers, City Football Group, and of course, they've literally signed the best top three players. Meliora, of course, is like straight away put down the name, put down whatever you want, and it's like come here to us, CJ Saran's Hardy.
blank checks for all three of them. Am I right, CJ?
Blank checks for the top talents. It's fantastic, really, how the scene has changed. It's, I mean, unimaginable for me to even think about this a couple of years ago. I still remember the times we used to travel and talk about, will there be a national league? Will there be a national team? Such a proud moment to wear this badge on our chest right now and talk to you guys about our journey and what we'll be doing tomorrow. But obviously, this is the talking bit of things. Before I talk about the eFootball Challenge again, and for everyone that, like I said at the start of the show, that I would be explaining the format, how you could participate and end up playing against the pros in for a spot at the national team. I just want to ask both the athletes that are here with me right now, what is the best formation that you use in game? Don't talk about the tactics, otherwise, you know what I'm saying. It's our competitors are watching, guys. Be careful about that. But anyway, just the formations is the thing, because a lot of people want to know the pros formation, the pros tactics. But we'll be talking about your best player in game and your best formation, starting with CJ.
So, like, my favorite formation is the box standard 4-4-2. I think it's the most simple and basic formation in FIFA. You have four defenders defending a line, you have four midfielders and two attackers going up front. And the best player, I'll go with Eusebio this year. I've had him from day one, and like he has clutched up in so many key situations in many tournaments.
Fantastic, really. So that's 4-4-2 and Eusebio, and that's CJ up against you. I would quit. I would quit. But anyway, moving on to you, Sid. What's your favorite formation? What's your best player in the game?
As CJ mentioned, 4-4-2 and 4-2-3 are the most standard formations we have. I actually like the 5-4-1 as well. Uh, just jokes aside, I really like narrow this year, but I just rock the 4-4-2 defensive and the standard variants. My best player, I mean, there's no doubt about it, has to be Air 9. I just love that guy. He is by far the best player in the game. I'm just so lucky to have.
Just an insight to everyone, Sid has R9 not just on the unlocked accounts, but he has got him
Loki,
in the
who's
main
your
team as well.
favorite player?
My favorite, I think it has to be R9. I just unfortunately don't have him right now. The
No,
one
we're
that
not
I'm
talking about unlocked accounts here, Loki. Come on.
no, but honestly, I think for
On
me,
on PS4 or PS5?
oh my god, CJ, oh man, CJ, what do I say, man? It's you and Sid now. You've influenced him in a really bad manner. But what I would
No,
say is,
jokes aside, Loki, I have a question for you. I know you have been in the FIFA scene for 5 years, 6 years, and I know how much you've had to struggle, and you have to struggle to find dogs. You have to struggle in tournaments. I know you've struggled a lot, but you are part of the national team now. You are part of two rippers, signed for them full time, professional FIFA players. So how does it feel to, see finally all the hard work paying off after so many years?
Obviously, it's a fantastic thing. Thank you so much, Sid, for asking me that. I mean, it takes a lot to come from literally nowhere to now being a part of the national team and being signed as a full time player. I think my determination has increased even more now to be able to stay at the top. As we all say, it's much easier to go up the ranks, but it's very difficult to stay up there. And all of us see that. All of us see new players coming in and going. And for me to be able to reach at this position where I'm signed by an org, such a reputable org, and that has given me the opportunity to play for them in FIFA. And obviously, it feels really good. So I think this is only going a long way. There were doubts, like you said, there were a lot of struggles in the start, but there are a lot of things that you go up and down. No job is easy. As like our job is to play FIFA. If we're not performing, obviously we have that stress of playing rivals every day, for performing for our nation, for our orgs, and other people have different stress in their jobs. So I think it's the stress that we all like because we want to do this. This is our job now. So it's a fantastic feeling though. And with that being said, thank you so much, Sid, for asking me that question because yeah, I was getting a bit iffy to talk about my own journey. I was like,
Don't,
nobody's
don't
asking
worry,
me that.
that's all right.
But why am I blabbering about it? But anyway, I think that's it from Sid and CJ. We will let them go because they obviously have to practice a game, and I will be joining them later for more practice sessions for the games that we have to play from tomorrow onwards. It's a pleasure to have you guys as always. Probably getting on a call later on with Sid and CJ to talk about what we're doing tomorrow. But thank you so much, Charan Goat and Jenna Sid FC for for joining with us today. I will be talking about a bit about the AIFF Football Challenge right now. And these guys, of course, were there to talk about their journeys. It's such a fantastic thing, isn't it? But let's just talk about the AIFF Football Challenge that was used as, of course, the platform to represent the national team. Last year, we had top 16 players based on the rankings, but this time it's a completely new format. And AIFF is, of course, the All India Football Federation is hosting 4 qualifiers every month: November, December, January, and February. Obviously, the November qualifiers have been done with. And we have the winners Navneet and Darvesh Kheda who will be playing in the grand finals alongside the invited top 12 pro players based on the rankings. And you have the chance to participate in the open qualifiers. You don't have to be ranked. You just have to play FIFA. If you're good at it, you'll definitely be there. And the next qualifier will be in December. Then it'll be on January and February. You have to register on FIFA.gg. It's FIFA.gg. And then obviously you'll have further instructions regarding how to register for the AIFFE Football Challenge. The link, of course, you will find that in the description below. And obviously, the format of these qualifiers is pretty simple. Let me just put it and explain to you. The qualifiers will be open to all FIFA gamers residing in the country, which is of course India. Both amateurs and professionals can play this, and this will be used playing a 90 overall rated mode. So that means you don't need to have an FUT team. You can play with your favorite ISL clubs if you want to. You can play with your favorite clubs, obviously the global clubs that you want to, with the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Madrid, Chelsea, etc., etc. Of course, you can play with those teams, and the top two athletes from each month will qualify for the grand finals, which happens at the end of this month, where you'll be joining the other, obviously, the other qualifiers winners and the top 12 players from the country. So it is going to be a massive challenge. But if you're ready for it, then you should definitely register for the same. And the monthly qualifier dates are for December, which is the 18th and 19th. So you have the qualifiers starting of this month in just 3 days time, which is fantastic. The final stage rounds of including the finals and everything will be happening on the March 18th of 2022, which is a long time from now, but you have to go through the processes. And I think the deadline for the registrations for the month of January, now you have time. You have to register from between the 1st of Jan to the 8th of Jan. And the registration dates for December have unfortunately passed by. So you just, if you haven't registered, then good luck for the qualifiers in January and February. The final stage of the tournament will be happening from February 25th to the 4th of March. So that's when it all concludes, and the national team, the obviously the new players are decided. But this was a fantastic, fantastic conversation. I think to have Sid and CJ with us, of course, and myself being a part of the national team, playing this game day in, day out as part of our jobs, and to be able to bring the insights and to talk about our journeys is not something that we did earlier, but we'll be doing that quite regularly now. And obviously, it was a pleasure to host. That being said, thank you so much, everyone, for watching with Indian football, and of course, me myself as your host, Lokmanya Chaturvedi. See you guys. Thank you so much, Sid and CJ, for tuning in, and good luck for your games tomorrow, and to me as well. I mean, if anyone is good saying good luck to me, but good luck to me as well, and hope to win, hope to get our country at the top and qualify for the FIFA E Nations playoffs. Until then, thank you so much, guys, for watching. We will be seeing you very soon. Take care of yourselves and keep playing FIFA.